A lot of crazy transfers have gone through over the last few weeks, and it's been a while since I did any sort of transfer roundup, just a video talking about my thoughts on these transfers. And I know you guys probably know of the transfers that have gone through, but maybe you want to hear my thoughts on them. Some of them are crazy. Quickly before I start, the price in the top right corner is kind of a rough estimate. There are different figures being thrown around. So, for example, we're going to be talking about Cucurella going to Chelsea for around 60 million. The numbers are between kind of 58, 62, and then there's add-ons. Very complicated these days. Every single transfer seems to include add-ons. There's clauses in contracts that we don't know about. So you can always take the price ranges with a pinch of salt. We don't actually know the true figures, but what we do know is Chelsea have signed an absolute superstar here. I love Cucurella. Doesn't necessarily bring in goals and assists, but I think he might actually end up playing as a left centre-back for Chelsea. I don't know. It could be that he plays left wing-back. I know they're going to be selling Alonso to Barcelona for 10 million or so. I haven't included that in this video. And obviously they've got Chilwell as well, so I don't actually know. What we've seen with Cucurella, though, with Brighton is he's played both positions down that left side, left wing back and also a left centre back. So he could do that job for Chelsea. I think it's a very good signing, but it's just a lot of money. It really is. And it feels a bit, well, Chelsea jumping on other people's deals. We saw Man City were very interested in Cucurella. And you know what? I think that he should have gone to Man City. He's a guaranteed starter at left back at Man City. I feel like they're using Cancelo there just because they don't have another left back. Zinchenko's gone now. They've got a youngster. I don't know if going to Chelsea was the right thing, but obviously it's come down to his own wishes, and the money, I'm sure, was difficult to turn down. I bet you Chelsea offered him more. But 60 million, Cucurella from Brighton to Chelsea. Big transfer, and I think we're going to see some more movements with Chelsea very, very soon. I've actually got a couple more to talk about in this video, but more rumours. So we're going to go into the next one. Now we have a loan deal that is official. We have a very strange one, this, because Cody is a massive Liverpool fan. Quite openly a Liverpool fan, and now he's playing for Everton. It is a bit of a strange one. It feels like the allegiancy between Everton and Liverpool for players and managers. Look at Benitez. It doesn't mean much these days, apparently. Yeah, a little bit of a strange one. I wasn't expecting to see this. It kind of came out of nowhere. But what we've noticed already with Wolves from their first game is they're going to 4 at the back this season. So Cody, who is literally perfect in a back 5 or a back 3, there's no spot for him. Wolves are using Kilman more. And they've obviously got some other centre-backs they would prefer to play ahead of Cody. Now, I'm not saying I don't rate Cody, but I don't think he's at the level that England require. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know how he's getting into the squad at the moment, but he's been okay for Wolves, and I think it's a decent signing for Everton. But the reason it's a big signing for them is because of, obviously, they've had that injury to... not Holgate, Godfrey. Godfrey's broken his ankle or his foot, so he's going to be out for months. They clearly needed to get someone else in. And apparently, according to Cody, it was very last minute, very quick, and he instantly said yes, and he was gone. So they've clearly reacted to the injury. Otherwise, I don't know if this would have happened, but best of luck to him. It's going to be nice for him to be back in Liverpool. Of course, Everton is in Liverpool, and he knows the city, his family there, and stuff like that. So next on the list, we have another Everton transfer. This time it is a £32 million purchase, and this is Onana from Lille. Is it Lille? I think it is. My mind's gone blank. But Onana has been linked with West Ham. I know he was linked with quite a few clubs. We're looking at £32 million to sign a player of his quality these days, and that... I'm not saying he's not good because, you know, having seen some clips and some montages and YouTube videos and stuff like that, he seems like a very, very good player. But £32 million, it is astronomical, isn't it, these days? The amount of money you have to spend. But Everton need to do business. I think midfield is very important for them, and that's why they've gone ahead and signed one of the best young prospects that was available this summer for that kind of money. I think what you've got to do, guys, is just forget over the last 5 years what has been paid. this is the new era since Neymar signed all those years ago. Everyone is worth more because of one transfer. And I guess Everton were willing to pay. I think he'll come good for Everton, though. Very, very good signing. And I think, with Frank Lampard at the helm, he knows how to play in midfield. And I'm sure Onana will learn a lot. Is it Onana or is it Onana? I don't know. Next one is really fascinating. So this is Guedes, Portuguese, of course, signs for Wolves. £30 million roughly. I like this transfer. And do you know why? Because I think this means Neto could be leaving Wolves. And guess who's linked? Arsenal. Arsenal want Neto, apparently. And this could enable us to do that. This is a great signing. He's actually gone for under his market value. If you look online, look at Transfermarkt, for example, his value as a player, obviously valuations are, it's whatever a club wants to pay for a player, but we're looking at roughly 35, 40, 45 million, and they've signed him for 30. So it's a good deal. He's a very good player, and he's still young. It feels like he's been around forever, but he's now joining up in the Premier League, and that's exciting. But of course, it means as an Arsenal fan, I'm now excited that maybe Arsenal could land Neto. Big fan of Neto. But welcome to the Premier League, Guedes. We then have another transfer that's gone through in the Premier League. This is Corney. He signed for Burnley, of course. They've been relegated. I'm sure his wages were very high. He would have had a clause in there. If Burnley get relegated, sell me for this amount of money or whatever. £19 million is an absolute steal for Corney. I am jealous of this deal. Genuinely. He could have gone to any Premier League side. For 19 million, it would have been a bargain. Anyone could have used this guy. Left back, left mid, right mid, striker, you name it. He can play there. And I think he will come good. Very, very good for West Ham at that price. I think they're going to be selling Benrahma already, aren't they? It hasn't worked out for him, so maybe this is a direct replacement. But either way, what a signing. He was incredible for Burnley. And remember, when you play for a team like Burnley, who at the time, let's face it, not the most exciting football under Sean Dyche. And now with Vincent Kompany, they look like a completely changed team. But he made them exciting for me. I actually watched Burnley to see Cornet play. I love this guy. So although I don't want West Ham to do too well, because I would say they're right up there with Arsenal, fighting for that kind of top 7, top 6, top 5. Maybe not West Ham this year, top 5. But you know what I mean. They're one of our nearby rivals, and I think he strengthens them. But I'll be interested to see how he gets on. Now, into the final confirmed deal. This is a bit of a strange one as well, but the reasoning behind it is something I wanted to talk about. So Dortmund have signed 34-year-old. I think he's 34. He might even be 35 now. This is Modeste. He's been around for a long time in the Bundesliga specifically. Now, the reason they've signed him for £4.5 million is because, of course, they just spent an absolute ton of money on Haller. He was at West Ham, Ajax. Really good striker, but he's unfortunately been diagnosed with some form of cancer. I actually believe it's testicular cancer, which is just awful. And I'm sure everyone wishes him the best to get well soon. And this is who they've signed for 1 year. A 1-year deal. Modeste is going to come in and hopefully replace those goals they're not going to have now that Haller is going to be out with his cancer treatment going on. And I really hope that he comes back strong because he's a great player. And I was really excited to see him go to Dortmund. But Modeste is in, and keep your eye out. You know what? I've got a sneaky feeling we might look back at this deal. If you watch the Bundesliga a lot, I tend to watch it quite a bit. I think we might think that Dortmund, absolute stroke of genius here, signing Modeste, a proven lethal finisher, and just a 1-year deal as well. Fascinating, really. So now we're going to move on into rumours. This one, I don't know how much I believe it, but apparently Chelsea want Aubameyang. Now, Aubameyang's only been at Barcelona for 7-8 months or whatever, since January, of course, when he left Arsenal. And he was banging in goals for Barcelona. He did really well. A lot of fans saying, we should have kept him. I still think it was the right thing to do. I don't think we would have got top 4 if we kept him. But he's gone to Barcelona. He's done well. But of course, they've just gone and signed Lewandowski. So with Depay there as well. And I just don't see what's going on here. Why? Why would they bring in Aubameyang and Lewandowski and have Depay? It's a little bit of a tricky one. And Barcelona, let's just say they're doing some weird things. It doesn't surprise me that all of a sudden Aubameyang maybe isn't happy. He's not their first team striker. And maybe he misses London. I know his family are probably pretty upset that they've been uprooted over to Spain now. Who knows what's going to happen? But I will tell you this, guys. If Aubameyang goes to Chelsea and does well and scores loads of goals, I'm not going to be that happy, if I'm honest. I love the guy. I loved Aubameyang. He was a dream signing for me. So to see him go to a rival less than a year later after leaving and losing captaincy and causing issues, it's not ideal, really, is it? But you know what? If it happens, it wouldn't surprise me if he absolutely kills it at Chelsea. There's no doubt in my mind there is still a quality player in there. It just wasn't working with Arteta, the way we play. And Aubameyang, for long periods before he left, just was a ghost. He wasn't on the pitch for us. Great player, though, and for me, an Emirates-era legend. Moving on, Chelsea again. Fofana linked with a huge, huge transfer. I think we're talking 60, 70, maybe even upwards of £80 million. Leicester do not want to sell, but if they do, they can ask for whatever they want. We know that Chelsea are desperate for a centre-back, maybe a couple of centre-backs after losing Rudiger, Christensen, both to the Spanish league. It's going to be an interesting one to watch out for because I know for a fact, and everyone will agree with me, Fofana will want to go. There's no doubt he will want to go to Chelsea. He'll double his wages. He'll be playing for a Champions League team, a team that consistently win trophies. He won't want to stay at Leicester, but I kind of feel like maybe it could still be a thing. He might still stay. Who knows? But it's one to look out for because if Chelsea get Fofana, that is huge. He is some player. Recovered well, seemingly, since his injury last season, which kept him out for a long time. Again, talking Chelsea, this time the other way. Apparently, Hudson-Odoi wants out. He's not happy being a bench warmer, even a reserve player at times. I don't think he gets onto the bench every game, let alone start games. And Dortmund are interested. I think Dortmund were interested a couple of years ago when there was the whole drama with his contract. And he's on massive money at Chelsea. It's actually crazy. I believe the rumours are he's on about 200,000 a week at Chelsea, which, I mean, it's unbelievable for a player that hasn't done anything in his career. Let's be honest. He's a good young player. Hasn't shown enough, in my opinion, to justify those kind of wages. But I tell you what, if he goes to Dortmund, he will tear it up. I guarantee it. He's one of those players. You know he's good. You know there's a player in there. And yeah, one to watch out for as well, because we know what Dortmund can do with young players. They turn them into superstars and then sell them on for triple. Although, excuse me, with Haaland, they didn't sell him on for triple. There was a silly clause in there, wasn't there? Anyway, we're going to move on to Rabiot. Big fan of Rabiot over the last few years. Not so much recently. I don't think he's actually done particularly fantastic at Juventus in recent times. But we all loved him when he was at PSG and was going on a free. And all the Arsenal fans were like, come on, come to Arsenal. Well, now it seems his time at Juventus is up. They want to sell him. And Manchester United are close to agreeing a deal worth 17-ish million pounds. Or is it 17 million euros? Either way, a very good price for an experienced international player. No doubt in my mind he improves Manchester United midfield. But I've got to say, for that kind of money, I feel like they could be doing a little bit better. They could maybe pay an extra 10, 15 million on top and get someone twice the player, or at least a little bit better. I don't know. I still think it's a good deal, though. If I was a United fan, I'd be pretty happy with that. I think him displacing McTominay, maybe displacing Fred instead because of the left foot thing. You have McTominay and Rabiot with Eriksen. It's a pretty nice midfield that. We'll see. We will see with that one. And then finally, we have nothing. That's the last one. I thought I had one more. So what's the biggest deal? This one for me. I really, really hope Arsenal can get Neto. I think that's going to happen. I hope so. We do need a winger. We know that we're looking for a winger. And bring in Tielemans already. Thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.